So what I'm really happy about is my step and path is so different from Bana's. So you're going to hear two totally different experiences. And what she does is phenomenal and amazing, and I wish I could do even a fraction of that. But I can't. I can't travel that much or pretty much at all. I have 3 young kids. So what do you do when you're not able to go to all these conferences? I mean, that is an amazing source of business, but what do you do when you can't do that? So my business started from a small rental. It was an opportunity to someone who knew me from a previous business. This was almost 15 years ago, and I think it was about an $8,000 a month rental. And I did everything above and beyond. I made my name equal to whatever you need done is going to be done. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry. If you know it's in Ruthie and Ethan's hands, you're good. And that was really a huge driver of our business because this person referred us to someone else that had a portfolio in New York City worth $150 million of condos, each one averaging about $10 million, that all had to be rented out. So he introduced me to them for doing such a good job. And they said, look, we've had this agent for 20 years. She was not able to get our apartment rented. She's not giving us attention. Can you get it done? I said, absolutely. By the grace of God, we got it done in 1 day. Long story short, we then took over their entire portfolio. And when you have averaging $10 million condos that you then have to rent out, it allows you to meet someone. And then you meet the next one, and you meet the next one. And when you take care of every single client and give them your all, and give them updates before they ask you. If you have something on the market, don't wait for them to call you and say, hey, what's going on with my listing? Then you're already losing. You communicate to them. You let them know how it's going, how's the traffic, what's the feedback, etc. You let them really feel like you're a partner in it, and you'll have their trust. And I think that's what's really built our business. And fast forwarding from those rentals to sales, we've been working in New York for a long time. We started in New York City, but I'm born and raised in Miami. And COVID was happening. It was a shit show in New York. I told my husband, I said, pack the car, we're going. We came with toilet paper and paper towel and a few items of clothing. And someone I had bumped into the previous week, because we were looking for flu medication, followed me on Instagram, and she's like, wow, we should come to Miami. And I kept in touch with them, and I kept pushing them. And I didn't know anything of the market then. I'd never sold one house in Miami, not one. But me and my husband rolled up our sleeves, and we knew everything and anything about the housing market. We knew who was out there, what was what, who were the architects, who were the landscape architects, who were the attorneys, who were the zoning attorneys. We knew everything. And our client at that time was the biggest buyer in Miami with a budget of around $50 million. That's what we ended up doing the deal at. At that time in 2020, that was a big number for Miami. And he never left us to go to any of the top realtors that are here, even though we never transacted in Miami, because throughout the process, we communicated so much that he felt he was getting the best service. And I'll never forget, we were in an off-market showing, and a really top broker that everybody knows mentioned something else off-market, and he looks at me and he goes, did you know about this? And I said, yes, I did. I told you about it, check your email. Long story short, I ended up doing that deal off-market, direct, buyer and seller for $45.5 million. And that was my first deal in Miami. Thank you. But the point of it is that just roll up your sleeves, do the work, never have an ego. If you do your biggest deal of your career, never have an ego, and always serve the client. And I think everything will come from there. I wish I could do more on Instagram. I agree that when you post more about your personal life, people tend to be more engaged, but like that's not a sacrifice I'm willing to make, so it'll just be real estate on my account. And I do think that hurts engagement, so I think you just have to get, if you're like me and you don't want to post your personal life, I think you just have to get really creative about the ways you're putting out your content. We're actually in a period where we're putting out a little bit of crazy stuff. We did an April Fool's joke that went viral. Ethan is my husband and partner, and he's a little bit more conservative than I am. He didn't love it so much, but it had incredible engagement, viral compared to how our posts perform. And I think you just have to sometimes go a little bit out of your comfort zone and just get creative with what you're doing out there. But I do think social media is hugely important. I think that people are watching, even if you think they're not watching, they're watching. And I notice that because people will say something to me or come up to me or ask me to meet. I have a listing pitch tomorrow where the guy's been following me and that's how it came about. And I do think nobody cares, but then the people that are looking for you, they care. And they're gonna be looking closely. So I think you can't live without it unless you're able to break into that Christian Engel model who's this broker in Palm Beach that somehow does like $1 billion a year without ever doing marketing. I don't know. But I think that's a one-off. I think you have to be really strong on Instagram. And there's an agent, I forgot his name right now, but he goes into people's listings and he takes content. Jonathan Vega, maybe that's his name. Yeah? Yeah, oh, well, he's getting really good business from it. So if you have that kind of energy and hustle, just go and do it. Don't overthink it. No one's as harsh of a critic as you are yourself. I think just go out there and do it and have fun with it, and you'll see results over time. May not be immediate, but you will see results. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you one quick story. I post a lot about Oceana Bell Harbor. And I look at when people follow me, I look at their account to see if there's anything interesting about them. And this one guy, I click his account, and I noticed that this very, very successful guy followed him. So I wrote him a message. I said, hey, thanks for the follow. Why'd you follow me? He goes, oh, I'm actually looking to buy a condo in Oceana, and you look like you do a lot there. So then I said, oh, can we talk? Can I share with you what I have? Can I take you on a tour? So on and so forth. Long story short, he bought an $11 million condo with us. So also look at your followers, pay attention, click their accounts, see who they are, be interested, and something will come of it eventually. Don't give up. We use Monday also, and then we have I think we use Studio Pro, which I don't know if that's an Element only thing or not, but we use that for eBlast. But we're really getting into AI, and we have a marketing guy on our team that is really good with AI, and I think that you need to have that ability, whether you have someone on your team or you learn it yourself, to start learning Claude and Gemini and all of that, because if you want to look like the future, I think you have to start learning that now so you don't become outdated. I know it's very overwhelming. I'm very overwhelmed by it. I only know how to use ChatGPT, but I do think it's important to learn.
Yeah, for me,